Hey guys, so Dulas decides to go and see his family traditional healer slash Sangoma to basically see what's going on in his life. Now, the Sangoma tells him, firstly, you will get a son from Uma Tabi Tabi, so you need to keep her close. And this makes Utulas very happy because this is even more reason for him to introduce Matabi Tabi to the other two women in his life. Unfortunately, the Sangoma does bring up bad news, and he says that he cannot see the pregnancy of Umam Hlongo. It's being hidden, and that's apparently a bad sign. Now, Dula says that this is not a surprise to him because he has been having bad dreams regarding to a woman getting pregnant, and this is actually what made him go to see the Sangoma. So the Sangoma's advice is that he needs to take a red string and basically tie it around Umamhlongo just to ensure that the baby is not in danger. So obviously Dulas goes with this information to go and tell Umamhlongo. However, he knows how she views traditional healers slash Sangomas, so he is a bit worried. Now, when they start the conversation, Mam Hlongo is a bit shocked by this because she never expected him to actually go to a whole Sangoma for her. And immediately she tells him that, hey, the baby is unfortunately no more alive. Now, Dulas immediately is shocked. He can't believe it. He immediately holds her hand. He tries to comfort her. He immediately tells her that it's not your fault. There was nothing that you could do that would have prevented it. This was God's will. He's coming off like the sweet gentleman. And then he decides to ruin it by saying, I never knew that you were going through something, because if I did, I would have never asked my Tabi Tabi to meet up with you today. I don't know if you're gonna still be able to see her. And obviously she gets offended, like, I just told you I miscarried our baby and you're busy telling me about some other girl. Like, you're not asking me how did I find out, how do I feel, did I do any procedures afterwards, what's the way forward. Like, your main concern is Uma Tabi Tabi. So she tells him, get out, like, go. And he's feeling some type of way because he's like, hey, bo, why did you kick me out of the house? Now, after Dulas leaves, Mam Hlongo's sister, Zinhle, decides to join her in the lounge, wanting to understand what he was here for and just for Mam Hlongo to fill her in. And Mam Hlongo tells her the story, and she is shocked. In fact, she goes from 0 to 100 in terms of being livid. She's like, you literally just poured out your heart. You told him that you lost a baby. You're going through a stage of grief, and he wants to tell you about his 100 women. Like, is he being for real right now? And Mam Hlongo has nothing to say. She's shocked, she's embarrassed, and I don't think at that moment she was expecting a lecture from her sister. However, her sister gave her. She says, look at you, like, this is the kind of man that you put on a pedestal just because he buys you car washes, just because he comes here and he tells you, baby, I love you. Yes, he paid lobola for you, but you need to love yourself because this man ain't good. He's not the one for you. You need to move on. There's always going to be a man out there for you. Like, she shouts at her all these things that we've been telling Mam Hlongo for free, that she doesn't want to listen. Her sister tells her, like, her sister gives it to her until Mam Hlongo was like, you know what, I cannot handle this because the truth is hot and I am going through a lot. So she just decides to walk off. Now, in the diary sessions, you see that Zinhle is just like, she is fed up with her sister. She is honestly up to here with how her sister will never actually value herself and see her worth, because she's never going to do any good with Dulas and his 100 women. Dulas continues with his plan of action. I mean, he is showing these women tabi tabi. So he decides to meet up with Mashozi, and he doesn't tell her that, listen, I'm about to bring tabi tabi, which is going to be the third wife. Now she is pissed. You know how Mashozi is. Which is kind of ironic because technically she came in as a third wife, and she was already pregnant at that time. So she is upset because Dulas told her that there would only be two wives, like it would be her and another wife, which at that time was Mamhlongo. So Dulas is saying, yeah, but remember Mamhlongo left, so I need to find another woman. And then Mashos is saying, but now she's back, so what's the point of this girl? And Julius can't answer, and he's just trying to introduce them. Mashos is being rude. She only comes back with one drink for Udulas, like she is not a welcome guest. They start going back and forth with Tabi Tabi. They start exchanging words, and you can see that this triangle, especially once you add Mhlongo, because currently she's grieving. They're in the mourning stage as a family. Hey, Dula's household is a mess waiting to happen. And Tabi Tabi, hey, she's a fighter. She's young, but she's like, I'm here to stay, baby. Especially once she hears that she will be the one who's going to bring the heir to the family. Oh, it's going to get to her head. And it's going to be a challenge that she's going to take because she's the one who's going to birth the king of the Dula's household. Moving on from one dam to another dama, we are talking about QONDANISA. Now, he meets up with his dad and they talk about his antics, and he basically reminds his dad about the situation that he's having with all his wives, and his dad is shocked that he is willing to try to resolve things with Mazibogo and the aunt. However, obviously he's happy that there's going to be some resolvement between the families because Lobola was paid. Then he reminds his dad that, listen, Unu is not coming home. She is acting like she is not married. Now, the father has mixed emotions. First of all, he feels like what she's doing is wrong because technically she was paid lobola for, but at the same time, he also acknowledges that his son has wronged Unu on so many occasions. So he kind of also gets why she is rebelling and retaliating, as well as why her family are literally on her side because, you've been literally doing the most. And while he's trying to resolve things with his other woman, he then adds that he has a third woman that he wants to add. Her name is Mangobo. And guys, let's have an honest conversation. Between him and Udulas, where do they keep getting these women? Because, this is season 4 of Mnagwetu Happily Ever After. There was a whole nother season of Mnagwetu. So this is about plus minus 5 to 6 years of this show being on TV, if not more. And you are telling me that these women that meet up with these people do not know the type of characters that they're dealing with. Like, which woman in their right mind would think that she would get stability and love and hope and a future from DULAS'S or QONDANISA? Like, I genuinely would love to see this woman. What is she seeing that we are not seeing? It definitely has to be the third leg, because honestly, when I just think of QONDANISA, I just see a broke man who is trying to stand afloat. That is it. There's nothing else which is attractive about that man besides maybe his third leg. Next, we have Ushandiso. So Ushandiso last week met up with his brother and was extremely rude to him. He even insulted him, saying that you don't even have a wife. So I don't even know why I'm getting this advice from you. This week's episode, he realizes that him being cocky and being rude is not going to get him anywhere. And he decides to call his brother, saying, "Hey, can you please do me a favor and can you call the elders for me?" He does apologize to him. And after the conversation, I realized Ushandiso is not just rude to his brother, he's rude to the whole family. Like, he's someone who you cannot speak to because his brother had to tell him that I'm going to call the elders, but you need to put your behavior in order. You cannot be speaking to the elders just anyhow, you know. And Oshandiso says, "Yes, I promise I'm gonna behave." And finally, they meet up with Shandiso's aunt and uncle. And immediately, the aunt and uncle are just like, "Shandiso, you've disappointed us. I don't know where you see this polygamy from. Istembu is not supported and promoted in our family." And once again, Shandiso becomes rude, saying that he doesn't really need anyone to say what he's doing is right or wrong. They need to just support him. And eventually, they end up coming to a solution that they need to involve the first wife's family. And you know what? I was so happy that finally we watch a family which are not against umakoti, because it's one thing for you to get married and having to deal with a cheating husband whose family sides in everything that he does. And it's another thing to have his noble brother saying, "Hey, what you're doing is nonsense." His aunts and uncles saying, "We don't support your nonsense against our makoti." It's very, very rare. And it's actually worrying me how the second wife is going to be treated in the family, actually, because I don't think she's going to be supported at all. Anyway, we have come to the end of today's video. Do comment down below your thoughts on today's episode. We have come to the end. Comment down below your thoughts. Till next time, love and light. Mwah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell down below. Till next time, bye.